everybody for coming to the channel, liking, subscribing, leaving your comments, whether positive or negative. Much love, much respect to everybody out there. Y'all know my disclaimer. I'm not a pastor, preacher. I don't hold any type of office in the church. So please do not lay claims of those titles on me. We're not here to violate any type of community guidelines, any type of copyright infringement, or any type of privacy guidelines. Shout out to everybody who's going to join us live now, in the middle, and those who are going to catch it when it uploads to YouTube. You know what I mean? It's the afternoon. I know it's lunchtime. People at work. You know what I mean? So I hope everybody's enjoying their lunch. For those at work, shout out to y'all. You know what I mean? Especially to the ones who's working in the office. What's up to A. Wooten? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. You say you're watching the first service now. I will watch the second after you're live. What service is on? What service are you talking about? What's up to Jonas? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Jay Williams? What up, what up, what up? Gino P. What up, New York? Jay Williams says lunchtime. Oh yeah. Shout out to the people at work, man. You know, I know y'all looking at that clock, waiting to get out. You know what I mean? Then you got to deal with that traffic. You know, when you get out. Bobby Gonzalez, what up? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Willie Timpson, shout out to you. Hope all is well. I dropped 2 videos on the third channel, man. I'm getting back to dropping those topic videos and whatnot. You know what I'm saying, on the Truth of God. You know, it's been a while since I've been dropping them topic videos, but, you know, we dropped them on Facebook a lot. So now, you know, putting more out on the third channel. I know some people have watched it, whatever the case may be. We're putting in more work. You know what I mean, for the most part. Morgan says, perfect timing when I'm about to take lunch. Tune into you said the best thing to watch now, plus edify the mind. Morgan, shout out to you. Michelle Simmons says, hey, you says pray all is well. For sure. All is well, just maintaining, enjoying the PTO. You know what I mean? Enjoying the vacay days and just relaxing, chilling around, you know, being kind of lazy a little bit. Feels good. But I know I got to return to work on Thursday, and it's coming quick. So I'm just going to enjoy these last couple of days and relaxation. What's up to 10 Ninjas? Shout out to you. Hope all is well at 10 Ninjas. Mercy Carr, greetings to you. Raymond Collins says, what's happening? All good. I'm good. I hope all is well. You said which third channel at Gino P? Tony Harvin TV. Tony Harvin TV. I don't know what's up with YouTube, man. They playing with the notifications. Yep. Put out Gino talking about church hoes. And there's another one out titled God Sent Preachers. We put one out yesterday. Treat sinners right when they come to church. So a lot of videos I gotta, you know, upload and stuff like that and let them go on that channel. All right, what's up to Christina? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Appreciate you for coming on, you know, chopping it up with us on this lunchtime for the most part. You know, yeah, but you know, I got a lot more videos to put out on. I want to put out on that other channel. You understand? It's doing pretty well. You know, shout out to everybody, you know, supporting that channel. For the most part, you know, it's a lot of work. You know, doing YouTube or whatever social media platforms people may have, and things like that. You know, we got something else coming out. As far as like, I want to interview other pastors, other leaders of so-called, you know, groups and stuff like that. That's what we're going to do. We're going to interview, you know, certain pastors, certain leaders, whether they're from the Catholic Church, whether they're from Jehovah's Witness, whatever. You understand? We're going to see what they believe and why they believe. That's going to be mainly the foundation of the interviews for the most part. Just hearing what they believe and why they believe. all in all, should we take questions from the chat room? It all depends, because some people try to turn things into a debate. I gotta underline that word, debate. You know what I mean? We know what's going on with that one. You know what I mean? The lowriders out there, they waiting. They waiting to go report back and tell. Shout out to the haters, the trolls, and the tellers, the screen recorders and stuff like that. They jot down their little notes and go back and tell what's going on over here, for the most part. What's up to Albert Fuller? Shout out to you. You said, greetings, how are you doing today? Hope you're enjoying the day, because I'm outside working in my garden. Hopefully, have a nice little produce this year. For sure, I'm good. It's nice weather out here in, Charlotte, North Carolina. It's decent out there, but you know how this weather can be. Storms usually come, or it's more so allergy season prone for a lot of people with this type of weather. But all in all, it's a pretty smooth day in general, What's up to Corinda Faithful? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Jay Williams says, shout out to the haters. We love you, for sure. You know what I mean? Yeah, so what I wanted to do, and I think I've had this idea, we kind of, side with it a little bit, as far as like interviewing leaders, whether they're from a different Hebrew Israelite group, whether they're atheists or whatever. You know what I mean? Just a basic interview. That's it. A basic interview. Because sometimes a lot of us wonder, like, what these people believe, or what makes them believe what they believe. You know what I mean? I like to hear what the explanation is upon why they believe, like atheists. Why don't you believe there's no God? Or Jehovah's Witnesses. Why don't you believe that there is no hell? You know what I mean? So I want to interview the leaders, so-called pastors, so-called ministers, or whatever you want to call them, type of people, for the most part. And taking questions or topics from the chat room. All right? Jonas says, let's give those devils a hand. What's up, the Corner B? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. X Grim says, God is Lord. Okay. You know what I mean? I don't know how to pronounce your name. You look like you have a name, and this looks Russian. Your name looks Russian to me. So I'm just going to look it up right quick off the Google Translate. But I think it's Russian. Oh, it's Greek. Prometheus or something like that. I don't even know what that means. Let me look that term up. It's something dealing with like sci-fi and horror. So your name in the Greek to English is Prometheus, which is, something dealing with horror, as far as like a movie. That's what I'm seeing. All right. What's up to Antoinette? Shout out to you. You says Christian. Yes, a lot of people profess to be a Christian on here. That is correct. Anita says, be very careful with your new channel, Mr. Harvin. We'll definitely be praying for you. What new channel? What new channel you talking about? I don't know what new channels. I said new show. You know what I mean? All right. What's up to Bless? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Prothemus says it's a Greek myth. I mean, hey, you got the name. Hey, if you decide to put your name that, or Kid the cat, or Frog the dog, or whatever, or Mitten the mouse, if that's what you want as your name, hey, it is what it is. Some people have, unusual names on here. You know what I mean? Some people put a name, I married my mom. You You know what I mean? People be having names like that on on social media. You understand? You know, a lot of people do things for attention. They say some off the wall stuff. Off the wall off the wall names. You understand? You understand? Nelson said, you have some weed? What are you talking about? Weed? I never smoked weed a day in my life. Ever. You know? Never. Weed. Joe says, watching this from Nubia, Sudan. Respect, brother, for sure. All right. Grasshopper says, hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. I don't know you. As Maury would say, you are not the father. And I know I'm not the father to you. You hear me? Especially with a name like Grasshopper. You understand? All right. Anita says, there's no shame in my name. Nah. Anita, is that Antonetta or Annetta or Anita? Francis. What's up to Tyree Lewis? Shout out to you. What's up to Andrew Jackson? Shout out to you. Marcel Powell. You says good vibes. You says positive. All right. What is that? Crispin. You says we Indians say suck the N-word to each other normally these days. That's you. That's you. You know what I mean? You can use that. You understand? Indian. Indian. It may work over there, but you know, you come over here, you Indian, you go to O Block or something, you say that. You know what I mean? You're gonna need some track shoes. All right? Jay Williams says, wow, he's boldly asking for drugs on the internet. Crazy. Oh yeah. Could be a narc, you know. You understand? You got a lot of silly people on here. Silly. All right. You said cheers from Italy, by the way. Italy. Crispin says, can we use it because we were ruled by the white too? I don't care what you use. That's on you. You know what I mean? You a grown man or whatever you are. That's on you. I can't tell you what to use or what to say. I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care what you say to each other. I don't care. You know, I don't care about white, black, none of that. I don't go by skin color or culture or anything like that. All right? Tyree says, what's the new show? Well, you must have just came on. Just interviewing other preachers. Interviewing other so-called leaders of different organizations upon what they believe and why. You know what I mean? Kind of how we did it with the biblical conversation. But it seemed to be flipped over to like a debate. You know? All right, Crispin says, what if we use it in America? Will people understand? Well, you come to, let me give you a place to go to try to use that. You writing it down? Chicago, Illinois is a place called O Block. You understand? You go out there, you understand? O Block. Or you could go to Compton, LA. You understand? Now the area may have like blue rags on it. We're all red. You know? We're all red when you go to those areas. You know? And let me know if you made it out by saying those terms. You understand? All right? John, you wrote 1 Timothy 2:5. Well, I don't know why you wrote that for. I don't know why you writing scriptures for. He says, what country is the best for retirement? I don't know. I think every place has its pros and cons. whether it's in America, Canada, Africa, Mexico. Some people go to the Philippines. You know what I mean? Some people just move out of the U.S. if you're in the U.S. Those who live out of the U.S., they want to come in the U.S. They want to try to sneak into the U.S. Jonas says, just dust show. All right. My brother, do you wear a cap because your hair is shy? Huh? Because my hair is shy. What does that mean? I have waves. We go to the Facebook. What's going on with this Facebook? All right, cool. So Facebook, I thought it was an issue with Facebook. I was about to say, folks is about to go crazy, same way they did with TikTok. So a lot of people may wear hats because it's comfortable. Hats, do-rags, bandanas. You know what I mean? It's a comfortable feel. You understand that? But if any man want to see another man with his hat off, that's on him. Why would a grown man be so mesmerized to see another man's hair or him with a hat on? You know what I mean? Listen, that action is for a woman. That action is for a woman who's interested, or his wife. What's up to the bionic bass player? He says, come to anywhere in Detroit. Jay Williams says, send him to Harlem or Brooklyn. Thailand is the best for retirement. It's possible. What's up to SV? Shout out to you. Tyree says, wonderful. That would be nice because the people get to see what these so-called pastors believe, so people of God can stay away from false doctrine. You know what? That was one of my methods when we did the debates. You know what I mean? I came up with the debates. I came up with that idea years ago. Folks say, well, why you allow them, or they coming on there for this and that. I came up with that idea. You understand that? Why? So people can bury themselves. So people can see the falseness and what people are believing. You know what I mean? So I figured out another way. Interviewing them. You understand that? Another way. Interviewing these, and it might be some people who agree with us. It might be. You never know. Somebody from another holiness church or whatever the case may be. We're reaching out to a lot of people. But some people are shy and they're camera shy. They don't want to answer questions. But we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? So that's what we're aiming to do. Interviewing other so-called preachers and leaders of different organizations. All right. Jonas says, strange. I say, Elbert Fuller says, are you familiar with the Brotherhood Prayer? That's on Zoom every Monday night, 6 to 7 p.m. If not, I'll send you the info to participate if you want. No, I'm not familiar with that. Normally I'm at work during long hours or with the kids during that time. So you can send me the information, you know what I mean? And Lord willing, I can check it out whenever I get a chance. But I'm not familiar with that. Am I familiar? Did somebody mention that? Or that was a different one? I'm trying to think, because another brother brought up something as far as like with was that morning prayer? I think it was morning prayer at one point. I'm not sure if it's the same kind of thing, but a different time. I don't know. All right. Jonas said Tony set them up on the low. Anita Jackson says, you will be all right. The one that's going to be bald, I pray so. Okay, you talking to somebody else in here? All right, let's see if I missed anybody else. We're scrolling through the comments right quick. What's up to Nelson? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. I see a comment got deleted. I don't know what you're talking about. I see why you got deleted. Somebody said Rep Vaughn. He was a dummy. You know what I mean? Anybody go out there looking for trouble, you understand? Things like that can happen to you. Things like that can happen to you. And a lot of people have been unalived that way. They go out there and looking for trouble. For what? You understand? For what? All right. Anita Jackson says, I pray your aim in Jesus Christ's mighty name. Appreciate that. A. Francis says, some are hard-headed and stiff-necked. They wouldn't want to be on your show. I'm speaking about what I know for sure. Many have been misleading. All right. Anita Thompson says, I'm just coming on. I'm interested. Could you please review what this about year 2? What? He says, could you please review what this is about year 2? And that's all I see. All right. Gino P says, what's the new show going to be? Valor says, what the show about? Tyree said, yeah, I'm thinking about doing lives while I'm doing my overnight shift job and just come up with a given topic or just having an open conversation. You think that's a good idea? I mean, if your job allows it. You understand? If your job allows it and stuff like that. But also be careful, man. Be careful, seriously. What I'm saying that is, you know, brothers and sisters who got, you know, YouTube channels and stuff like that, they got their own platform and they doing their thing. You got those out there who don't have a platform and they're jealous. And those are the ones who's watching. Those are the ones who's telling. Oh, he ain't supposed to be doing that. Those are the main ones. He ain't supposed to be doing that on his channel. You understand? So me personally, I don't see nothing wrong with having a basic conversation. You know, you just got those folks out there, man, who's watching your every move. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, me personally, you want to talk about tacos and steaks and stuff like that? Cool, fine. You know what I mean? I think I do that from time to time, you know, driving the truck and stuff like that, you know. Hey, it is what it is. You know? All right. Back to Gino P and Valid. Basically, I want to interview you know, different leaders of different organizations. I want to interview them. You know what I mean? I want to interview, you know, like we're doing tonight, we interviewing Captain Zariak on what he believed and why. You know, throwing out different topics. What he believed on baptism, why he believed it. Women preaching, what he believed, why you believe it. All right, the Son of God, what he believed, why he believed it. You understand? What you believe, why you believe. Okay, and if somebody in the chat room got a topic or a question, cool, that's it. You know what I mean? If we interview a Baptist preacher, same thing. Same thing for a Jehovah's Witness leader. Same thing for Mormons, atheists, what you believe and why you believe it. Why? Not to have a back and forth, not to have a debate. Let's underline that. You know? All right? So that's what that's mainly about. You know? What else we at in the comments? What's up to be holy? Shout out to you. Albert Fuller says, I'll send you the info. Some of the brothers are driving and they still come on while they're driving, just as you do when you're doing your show sometimes. Okay, so when you said Zoom, okay, so Zoom, you could just do the audio part. All right, I get it. So every time somebody says Zoom, I'm thinking you got to be on video, but okay, Zoom, you don't have to be on video more so. It's just the audio. Okay, I got it now. I got it. Anita Jackson. Why people keep saying new channel? It doesn't say new channel. It says new show coming to the channel. Yo, first of all, you gotta know how to read first. Read first. New show coming to the channel, not new channel. You know what I mean? All right? Anita Jackson says, I pray you all have a wonderful day. I must prepare for work. Be blessed. Have fun. I'm going to be relaxing. You know? I like teasing people when they got to go to work. You know what I'm saying? Tyrese says, true brother, the only thing is the music at my job be playing loud in the background. That's the only thing. Oh, music. Man, that's rough. Because I have a headset. My headset is right here. You know, and I don't know if, you know, certain headsets might work on the live, which has a noise cancellation. So anything in your background will be canceled out. You know, if you get a certain headset, you know, such as music and things like that, it will only, you know, pick up what you're saying. So you can look into that as far as like, you know, a headset. You know what I mean? Because of course, if a person got music in the background, even lyrics could bring in a copyright notice on the person's YouTube channel. Even lyrics. Daily Nurse says, God bless, brother. All TLG family. For sure, appreciate that. Anita Francis says, same thing for those calling themselves prophet when they're not. And still up to today having misleading people. Didn't hear from God. Yeah, those people gotta deal with the Lord themselves and whatnot. That's why I don't play around when it comes to church titles at all. If a person calls themselves a pastor, then hey, that's on them. They gotta deal with that. You know what I mean? Appreciate that at Albert Fuller. Aaron Michaels, what up? So what new show is coming to the channel? Aaron Michaels, I'm bringing the Pop the Balloon show. Pop the balloon for Aaron Michaels. You know what I mean? Aaron Michaels, are you Aaron the plumber? Imagine that. Oh man, it'd definitely be crazy if I bring Pop the Balloon show. Whew. You know, brothers and sisters in holiness, popping the balloon. You know what I mean? Be holy. What up? You know? Oh man. You said not Captain again. I think we interviewed Captain. I think it was one time on the other channel. Interview, a solid interview, and this may be the second time. All right, Jonah said gender reveals. Gender reveals. Wow. Gender reveals. Baby showers and whatnot. Appreciate that at Daily Nurse. Shout out to you. So Aaron Michaels, you know, I just explained it. Just interviewing different leaders, you know, of certain organizations. We're gonna try to get, you know, a lot of people in the coming days, in the coming months, the coming years, or whatever the case may be. You know, some people may want to hear from certain people upon what they believe and why. And we'll see if we can get them on here for the most part. All right, that's for you at Albert Fuller. Shout out to you. Jonah says, people really just making up anything. Yeah. I've never heard of a gender reveal to, I think, a couple years ago. I never heard of that coming up. What's next? What's next after that? They're trying to stretch the gifts out. First it was a baby shower, gifts. Now they're stretching it out with the gender reveal. You understand? What's next? What's next? You know? I'm pretty sure these folks is going to come up with something. It's going to be something that people are going to ride the wave with. You know what I mean? In reference to, you know, baby showers and gender reveals and stuff like that. You know? All right? Let's get back. Anita Thompson says, your topic to what? What you mean? What's up to Ernest Beard? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Jonas says, those progressive types. What's up to John Smith? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. At John Smith. Appreciate that. Let me see. What else? We got that to John. Excuse me. We got that to Albert Fuller. Ernest Beard. Valid. I think I answered you, Valid. Grasshopper Plus. This guy's bugging. Let me go to your YouTube channel right quick. Grasshopper Plus. That's some crazy stuff. All right. I see why you got removed. Daily Nurse says, God bless you, brother, and all TOG family. Greetings and blessings, Sister Laurie. Appreciate that. You know, thank you for the support of this YouTube channel for the most part. You know? So I guess we can wrap this thing up in a bit. I just wanted to come on here real quick, let the people know about, you know, the little new show. We're going to see what happens with this, and hopefully we can get some people on here, man. I know some people mentioned, before Marcus Rogers. Imagine that. Marcus Rogers coming on here for an interview. I know the people is going to tear him apart. You know what I mean? That might have to be pre-recorded, man. That might have to be pre-recorded versus alive. Because I know folks is going to go in on him. That's something I can't help. Certain people like Marcus Rogers, and let's just say hypothetically speaking, T.D. Jakes, man, it's going to be a shutdown. It's going to be a shutdown. Brian Coyne, you know, Jamal Bryant, you know, Keith McQueen. Man, why you believe this stuff, fella? Why you believe this stuff, and why? What you believe? You know, folks will go crazy. What's the link? What's the link? I want to come on there. What's the link? You know? A. Francis says, wouldn't that be something? Oh, yeah. SV says, have you ever asked Captain T what's the difference between all the so-called black Israelite camps, ISUBK, IUIC, etc.? We could ask that tonight. We could ask that tonight. See, that's a question right there for an interview. That's a good question. You know what I mean? That is absolutely a good question for an interview. And I'm gonna copy that and put it in my notes. You know what I mean? For tonight. You know, stuff like that is a good question. You know, because some people don't know how to differentiate the Hebrew Israelite camps. You know what I mean? Some people may say, well, the Hebrew Israelite camps, they came to the Church of Philly. You know what I mean? You got to know how to differentiate. That was an IUIC. You know? Just like some people think all Christians are the same. Some people think all Hebrew Israelites is the same, which is not the case. You know? All right. Good question, though. I'll be sure to ask that, Lord willing, if I could remember that. It's a lot of questions that I'm pretty sure some people may have to ask, but I would advise people not to, go back and forth. If you ask the question, what do you believe about baptism? Or what do you believe about this and why? The thing is, a person can ask the question, but they will want to go back and forth with individuals. You know what I mean? And that's what we're not trying to do with folks. But I do know certain individuals, sometimes you just can't help that at all. All right? Laurie says, worms not choosy. We all bleed it. We all bleed red. What are you trying to say with that one? What are you trying to say at Laurie? I'm trying to understand that. As Sister Laurie. Let me know. All right, if you got any last closing remarks, let me know for sure. Lord willing, we'll be back 8:30 tonight on the StreamYard, to conduct this interview and, to have an interesting conversation with Tazaria of the ISUPK, Hebrew Israelite Camp. Hope everybody have a wonderful lunch. Hope everybody having a wonderful afternoon. For sure. And God bless to everybody out there. I'm Tony Harvin. I'm signing off. Peace.